I always talk to my family to get their take on things like security on airports, for instance. And my mother said that, that she has run into, at least on one occasion, someone who was really, really rude. But she, you can't really sit there. Not everyone wants to put them in their place, because if you have to catch a flight in 30 minutes.
Well, you're also scared of them.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to miss your flight.
A lot of them are on crazed power trips.
So they have the upper hand, and it does lend itself to control freakery and sort of mindset of people who like to be in charge and say, stay in line. Can you move in line, please? Can you stop, please? Can you go, please?
Well, I hope dying of cancer for all of them is a condolence, because 7 times increase in cancer where they've had the scanners in for 8 years at Boston. I hope they enjoy getting chopped up by the loving government hospitals, because you're all dead.
Well, the TSA agent at Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix assured me that their scanner only penetrates the surface and only the clothing.
No, they've lied to them. I know. Yeah. They say John Hopkins says it's safe. The head of John Hopkins says that's a lie. Yeah. We didn't say that. Our report says cancer. No, they're idiots. Yeah. They're people that believe the government says there's no radiation from this honey cake. Now, stick your hands down that child's pants. And they're like, okay.
So everybody needs to say, no, I'm not going to walk through that scanner. You have a right. There's not the law to...
and by the way, they're doing gropes after the scanners now.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, let's go to this piece. Again, this is Jeff Lewis, quadruple. I said triple. He's missing all 4 limbs. And here he is being interviewed by our own Patrick Henningsen for Infowars.com. Here is that report.
Jeff Lewis, quadruple amputee. You got me coming and going. When I get to the airport, I travel enough that most everybody here knows me on almost a first-name basis, but I still have to go through the entire routine, head-to-toe body check, the fondling, the swabbing, and the apologizing, and I just make sure I get there at least 25 minutes earlier so they have time to do all that. And sometimes it's not thorough enough. They call me back to do some more X-raying on top of that, even though they know exactly who I am. And they have so much experience with me. It's hard to put this the right way, but until they find a non-terrorist person, and I don't know how to put it.
A domestic terrorist?
Yeah. Until they find one that's a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, why check all the grandmothers so thoroughly? Yeah. I just don't understand that. I mean, I can put us through a machine and see if we got a bomb on us. I can understand that. If it doesn't, the bell doesn't ring, why be so invasive? And I'll be honest, the people that check me over are most of them, 99%, are very, very apologetic. They know that they don't have to check me, but if they don't do it, someone else will.
Hit pause right there.
I understand that.
Hit pause. It's worse that they know he flies all the time as a motivational speaker. It's worse that it's arbitrary and we know you're not a suspect and there's no pretense that you're bad, but we're going to do this to you. It's the idea that there's no due process anymore. And talking about Anglo-Saxon Protestant, whatever, if you go back to Magna Carta and basic common law that comes out of that, that's why you're innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. Because then it's an endless, I'm going to come in your house without a warrant because I feel like it. By the way, that's starting. Mm-hmm. That's what this is about, is overthrowing due process. And it's all of your basic rights. Police, military are all being taught to hate the Bill of Rights and Constitution. That's a protection for you. You notice as it's being thrown out the window, all the other liberties are going and the prosperity's going. Let's go back to more of this interview with him there in the airport. Quadruple amputee flying out of Arizona, grabbed and I guess they make him take parts off and scan for explosives every time. Here it is.
And I'm not going to be the protester that stages a sit-in because I want to get from point A to point B, so I'll go through it. But there's no common sense in any of it. None.
It's a systematic problem,
yeah.
I think.
I'm doing this because I was told, sign the papers.
Yeah.
Don't blame me, blame the guy higher up.
Yeah.
He's making me do this. Think of all the personal information you have to give when just in buying a ticket. We bought our ticket online. And you have to give a lot of personal information. Why can't they have a database check right then and there?
Yeah, profile.
Yeah. And then when you come to the airport, they know exactly who they need to check out and who they don't. Yeah. But if you look, entire history. I think the most violent thing I did was pop a kid in the snoot in the 4th grade because he was paying too much attention to my girlfriend. They haven't caught anybody. They have not pulled anybody through the screening process.
In all these years.
Not one. Concentrate on the people that are going to be doing something horrible.
Be more efficient.
Yeah. And
all right.
A background check before you ever come to the airport can be done very easily. You can program the computer to say, hey, this guy needs to be checked out.
So there it is. We're going to get that posted up at Infowars.com. But see, he's still saying, wow, this doesn't work. It's not stopping terrorists. Man, this is silly. It's stupid. No, it's not. It's a power grab. Power grab. That's what all this is about, is taking over society. I want to take a few calls, but any other comments on this?
Yeah, the power grab is a voluntary power grab. The big art of deception here, the mental trick, if you like, the sleight of hand, is to get people to parrot the saying that it's the law, it's the law. This is what the security guards, as they apologize to me.
No, it's against the law to grab somebody's genitals without a warrant.
It is not the law. It's what's called security protocol. And what now the real law, due process, what you were talking about before, which is innocent until proven guilty, this has been usurped by protocol, security protocol.
Regulations, policy. In fact, when I had a guy trying to grope my genitals flying back from Las Vegas when I was doing a video shoot investigation, he said, I have administrative rights to search you. He has a right to grab my genitals.
Administrative rights. There's a contradiction in terms of ever heard one.
And notice they beta tested it in a control area like an airport. Now it's spanning out. Oh, it's a privilege to own a gun. It's a privilege to drive down the road.
And I'll tell you something else, Alex, and let me just leave you with this. I went through security at Heathrow. They ripped everything apart. I'm talking to a guy that recognized me from RT in the queue on the airplane. And we started talking about this stuff. He's all, I love what you're doing. Love what Alex is doing. Love what RT's doing. This guy collects guns, right? I won't say his name on air. He collects vintage cars and vintage guns. He's English. He goes to America, gets a Tommy gun from the Al Capone era with the circular magazine, those old machine guns, puts 2 of them in his bag, Alex, checks it on to British Airways, and picks it up when he gets back to London. Those are 2 machine guns through security, checked onto a regular plane, not found. They can't even get people that are openly...
No, it's all fake. And then when a video comes out showing the scanners don't find bombs, they try to block the video and call reporters and say, don't interview this engineer. It's all a federal power grab to grope you and your family to train you your slaves.
And in the process, they've dumbed down all these security workers to such a low level of competence.
Well, they're in there rotisserie in the radiation.
They've dumbed them right down. So you have they don't know their whatever from their elbow. They don't know what they're looking for. They don't know who they're looking for. Well,
they're looking for their crotch.
This is like, when you see those old movies, the old spy movies with the Soviet Union, and they used to have people impersonating German officers, for instance, and because the police state in Germany or in the Soviet Union, Stalin era, was so massive, you could throw a uniform on, put a badge on, and say you're from the Department of Agricultural Safety, and they wouldn't know the difference.
That's already happening here.
They wouldn't know the difference between that or a real department. So the state has grown to such a fantastic cancerous degree in America that you could pretty soon it's going to be such a running joke. You could say you could impersonate a federal officer. You just walk in. Well,
what's happening is all these agencies are now getting weapons and are power grabbing, and everybody's bowing down. I was reading where the NOAA weather system is now expanded to all our coastlines, and in areas that are legal and lawful to surf, they're just arresting people saying it harasses whales. And then when there's a local lifeguard there that has a jet ski for emergencies under the city rules to save people, the feds arrest them with felonies. And it's just, and fishermen. I used to go fishing on the Texas coast. Even bay fishing, they're scared to death, and there's feds and locals harassing you, and they could pull you over with little kids and scream at you and board the boat and yell at you, and now they stop their boats when they see Homeland Security or Coast Guard or anybody else and shake in fear, and they say, if you don't stop your boat, even if they're 500 yards away, they see it as disrespect and board you. And I watch the feds and others drive by. They used to be like this. Their eyes are all crazed. Look, you get a uniform, your boss, your God, Soviet Union. Nazi Germany. It's here. Land of the cowards, home of the slaves. What's it going to be ruled by? What is land of the coward, home of the slaves going to be ruled by, Patrick?
It's going to be ruled by a ninnying guy with a badge or a woman with a badge that's the only job going out.
Who wants to put their hands on your crotch?
It's the only guy.
They enjoy it. We'll be right back. We've got Sean Stone joining us coming up here after this quick break. We've only got a little 5-minute segment here. I want to take a few calls with Patrick Henningsen. We'll try to take calls as well when Sean Stone is on with us, recently back from Iran, TV host, filmmaker. Sean Stone coming up. Perry in Texas, thanks for holding. You're on the air with Patrick Henningsen. Go ahead.
Alex, this is actually for you. Alex, we need a non-violent million-man or million patriot march with rifles to D.C. to make a citizen's arrest to whoever have committed crimes against our Constitution and against us. We need to arrest Congress, FDA, Monsanto, Merck, the EPA, and the rest of them. And we need to take our country back right now.
Well, I hear that, and I've seen that for years. And the problem is that would be called an insurrection. The public doesn't know that if foreign banks have taken over Washington, so they would say that it was an insurrection, would use the military against us. I would rather, but I understand, that gut instinct to do that. I would rather educate the states to the level, have grand juries start indicting people, have the Congress indict Obama for launching the Libya war without congressional authorization, and it's now been introduced. I mean, it's a high crime misdemeanor, and it's like, no, don't do it if he does it again, do it now. Well, there's ways to do this. He who shoots first loses, and I know what happened at Lexington and Concord. The feds of that day, the redcoats, came to confiscate the guns, and the people said, no, you're not. Nobody knows who shot first. Shot heard around the world. If people are looking for a war, it's probably going to start. I don't want one to. Okay, I'd rather fix this peacefully, and we're very close. Every day we keep it from a shooting war, the police and military are waking up. But God bless you. Let's get Patrick Henningsen's take on that big question you just raised.
Yeah, look, the thing about the United States is this country's got a great history of people being able to make decisions for themselves, be responsible for themselves, take care of their own families, states being able to take care of their own rights. The big battleground in this country is the battle between states and the federal government. That to me is where the real...
2 states have now passed laws nullifying NDAA and saying arrest the feds if they try to put a bag over citizens' heads.
And I think my instinct is that is really what's under the surface in Arizona.
Yeah, let the evil keep playing out. It's waking everybody up.
Sheriff Joe's thing in Arizona is really, but behind the Obama birth certificate is the federal issue, the federal agencies coming in and dictating how you're going to do border control, dictating how you're going to deal with your own immigration problems. And versus the state being able to handle their own affairs. And
that's right. You've got to defend yourself. That defense is always good. Hate to copy a Star Wars thing, but knowledge and defense, never for attack. And because the position of power is from defense, true defense. That's why they call it Defense Department. It's really War Department. But that's the bottom line. Is that we've got to be in that position to defend the innocents, to have courage, but the globalists are destroying themselves.
You have to defend yourself from a position of righteousness, and you always have to have a moral backbone, or you have to have a moral basis to do this. We have this in the United States. You have to defer to the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. It's there. Our founding fathers gave it to us. Fantastic document, genius, okay? That is your moral backstop in this country. Do not be afraid.
Yeah, those that attack first and that attack innocents, no amount of propaganda or technology is going to prop them up. This